Welcome friends, this is Vishal Nadapra, Dr. Subhash Technical Campus, Junagadh. We are studying the chapter Fluid Kinematics in the lecture series of Fluid Mechanics, in which we had seen in the last lecture about the types of flow lines, which consist of path line, streamline, streak line. Follow that, we have seen the definition of the stream tube also. After that, we had seen rate of flow, which is nothing but the volume flow rate per unit time. And we have derived the equation of that, which is volume flow divided by time. And the unit of which is meter cube per second. Then we have derived the continuity equation, which is based on the conservation of the mass. And after that, we have derived the equation of continuity for three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system for steady and incompressible flow, which was del u by del x plus del v by del y plus del w by del z equal to 0. And we have seen the same equation for two-dimensional flow, which is del u by del x plus del v by del y equal to 0. Today we are going to look at velocity potential function, stream function, then velocity potential line, stream function line, then relation between the velocity potential function and stream function, followed that the flow net and the use and application or limitation of the flow net. So let's begin. First, start with the velocity potential function. So here, velocity potential function is defined as the scalar function of space and time such that its negative derivative with respect to any direction gives you the velocity or the fluid velocity in that direction, and it is denoted as a phi. So this is the function or velocity potential function. It is a scalar function of space and time, and its negative derivation gives you the velocity in that direction. So let's start to understand what happened to the three-dimensional and two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. If we see the mathematically, then the velocity potential function is defined as the negative derivation of with respect to any direction. For that, let's suppose phi is a function of space and time coordinate as seen here. So space coordinate is x, y, z and time for the unsteady flow, and for the steady flow, it is a phi is a function of x, y and z only. Because for the steady flow, the dimension or Cartesian coordinate system or Cartesian coordinate will not change with respect to time, or we can say the component in this component with respect to this Cartesian coordinate system will not change with respect to time. So let's see, as per the definition, how does we can derive the velocity potential function. Say it is the negative derivation, so take negative derivation with respect to x will give you the velocity in that direction. So if we take derivation of phi with respect to x, which is nothing but the x coordinate, let's see here, this is x, y and z coordinate. So if this is x coordinate, then in this direction we always consider the u as a velocity component. Then negative derivative of this potential function with respect to any direction will give you the velocity in this direction. So by this, u is equal to negative of del phi by del x, and so for the any other function u and v, we can derive v is equal to negative of del phi by del y and w is equal to negative of del phi by del z. Here again, keep in mind that this is not an complete derivation, this is a partial derivation. So the phi is vary in this in x direction only, whereas the component of phi in any other direction, say this y direction and z direction, are constant when we are deriving the equation. Again, one important thing is to notice here that the negative sign indicates the phi decreases here. Phi will decreases with the increases of the value of x, y, and z. So let's think here, as the value of x increases. So as you move in the direction of x, the value of x will increase, but at the same time, the velocity will decrease. Say the component of velocity in the x direction will decreases in magnitude. So in other words, it indicates that the flow is always in the direction of decreasing phi. So flow is always occur in the direction where the value of phi will decreases. Now let's see further. If we derive the equation for the continuity equation, then first let's see the continuity equation for incompressible steady flow, which is del u by del x, del v by del y, and del w by del z. If we put the value of u, v, and w from the previous equation, which we have derived here, so we will put the value of this u, v, and w in the equation of continuity for three-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system, and we get the relation like this: del by del x of minus del phi by del y. It is nothing but the value of u from the previous equation. Then del by del y of minus del phi by del y, which is the value of v, and if we put value of w here, then we get the equation like this. And in the summary, we get the del 2 phi by del x square, which is nothing but the second derivative of the phi with respect to x, and we get the three terms in respective directions, say x, y, and z. So now this equation will become the Laplace equation. So ultimately we can say the potential function is represent, or we can say it satisfy the Laplace equations, and thus the function phi that satisfy the Laplace equation will correspond to the some case of fluid flow. So this is Laplace. What the Laplace equation indicates? It indicates any type of flow. And here our potential function, our velocity potential function phi, which satisfy the Laplace equation. So we can say the velocity potential function will indicate some type of flow. Here we cannot be specific which type of flow will occur, but it indicates some type of flow. So now move on, stream function. So again, as per the velocity function, the stream function is defined as the function of space and time, such that its partial derivative with respect to any direction gives the velocity component at right angle to this direction. So here, what is the difference? The difference is that only in velocity potential function, the derivation is gives you the velocity in that direction. Yeah, whereas here in stream function, it gives you the velocity at right angle. And in most probably, stream function will work only for two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. It is denoted as a phi. So for the two-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system, if psi is the function of space and time, then we can say, or we can write psi as a function of x, y, and t for the unsteady flow, and function of f of any function of x and y for the steady flow. So as per the definition, if we take the partial derivation with respect to y or any direction, it gives you the velocity at a right angle. So here the right angle is u, because y is the in y direction the velocity component is v, and in x direction velocity component is u. So here you get the u direction, and for the v it is the negative of del psi by del x. Say the derivation of function or string function psi with respect to x direction will give the velocity at right angle, which is nothing but the velocity component in y direction, and it is a negative here. So let's see whether this function will satisfy the Laplace equation or not. For the two-dimensional Cartesian coordinates continuity equation, dimensional continuity equation, that is del u by del x, del v by del y. Now put the value of u and v from the previous equation in this equation. Previous equation is like this. From this equation, value of u and v. Then we get del u by del by del x of del psi by del y plus del by del y of minus del psi by del x equal to 0. So it is a second derivative of psi with respect to del x del y minus del psi second derivative of psi with respect to del x del y equal to 0. And hence existence of psi means a possible case of fluid flow. So stream function will also indicate as some type of possible fluid flow. Let's see now the relation between stream function and velocity potential function. So here, one of the properties of the stream function is that the difference of its values at 2 points represent the flow across any line joining the points. So let's suppose there are two lines lie in the same fluid flow. Then these have a value of function psi 1. This has a any other function psi 2. So in this case, if the two lines are of the same streamline, then there being no flow across the streamline. That we have discussed in the previous lecture about, when we see the when we saw the definition of streamline and stream tube, and we have discussed a little bit of, in detail at that time. So here, if the value of psi is constant along the any line, then it is called as a constant stream function line. And if the value of phi is constant for any line, it is called as a velocity potential function line or a equipotential line. So this represents a two different line. One is the stream function line, or simply a streamline, and another is the potential equipotential line or velocity potential line. Now let's see the slope of both this line. So for the curve where the phi is equal to constant, or we can say for the equipotential line, if we take the slope, then it is del y by del x. Then the value of phi is del phi by del x and del phi by del y. So by this way, it's nothing but the negative of u and negative of v. This is as per the definition. Here, u is the del phi by in velocity potential function equipotential line, or similarly we can say in the velocity potential function, we get the velocity when you derive, or when you take that partial derivation with respect to any direction, it gives you the negative value of in that direction. So del phi by del x is equal to negative of u, and the same way del phi by del y is equal to negative of v. So here it is the u by v, and for the same way for the stream function psi equal to constant, and for the slope of that is del y by del x again. So del psi by del x and del psi by del y, it is nothing but the negative of v divided by positive of u. So after that, if we take the multiplication of these two, then we get the multiplication of this both slope is a negative 1 or the minus 1. What does it indicates? It indicates this both line are intersect, but perpendicular to each other. So it is the something like this. Say this is the equipotential line with sorry. Say this is the equipotential line. Okay. Say this is any line which have a constant psi function, or we can say stream function is constant. Then this become a equipotential line where phi is constant, because the slope of both or this multiplication of slope of both the lines are negative 1. Say u by v multiplied by negative of v by u, then v cancel out and u cancel out. The answer is minus 1. So we can say the streamlines and equipotential lines intersect each other at orthogonally at all point of intersection. So whenever it intersect each other, it will always intersect at orthogonal direction, or we can say at right angle. So this is the relation between these two functions. And after studying or after establishing the relation between these two, we get the one important graph, or we can say it is a net, which is a flow net. So flow net is nothing but the graphical representation of streamline and equipotential line. So technically, if you see the definition, then grid obtained by the drawing a series of streamline and equipotential line are known as a flow net. So here there are three model of flow net and equipotential line are shown as per the given. Here you can say this is the case of pipe flow, in which the horizontal line indicates the stream function or the constant stream. It is called as streamline, and the line orthogonal to this streamline, it is called as a equipotential line, and it all intersect each other at 90 degree. Here you can say. So this is the case of pipe flow. This may be the case of outlet from any dam or any big reservoir. with the inlet, sorry, with the outlet have a curved surface at the outlet section. So here the streamline will be like this. Here you can say the distance between streamline will be decreases here, and so the velocity is increases here. That we have discussed in previous lectures also. And this is the equipotential line. So this all have a value or some value of phi, which is constant along this line. And this is again a case of outlet from any big reservoir, but here it is a sharp exit. So it have a little bit different streamline. Here the streamline is very smooth, but here the streamline get some notch here. So this is the difference in the flow nets, where the outlet is with the curved outlet and with the very sharp outlet. So the by this way, the FlowNet provides a simple graphical technique for studying the two-dimensional irrotational flow, especially in the cases where the mathematical relation for the stream function and velocity potential function are either not available or rather difficult and cumbersome to solve. So this may be helpful when you are not capable to develop any mathematical relation. Uh, at that time, this will help. This will be helpful for the understanding or for the clear definition of the types of flow. So this is the flow net. Now let's see the little bit use and limitation of the flow net. If we think about the application or the use of flow net, then it is used to determine the streamline and equipotential line. It is also used to determine the quantity of seepage and upward lift pressure below the hydraulic structure. So by this way, we can consider the upward lift pressure for a particular hydraulic structure. It is also used to determine the velocity and pressure distribution for a given boundaries of the flow. So it will provide us the distribution of the velocity as well as pressure. From that, we can derive or we can assume that the amount of pressure or amount of velocity, and thus we can design or we can modify our design or predict the strength or the stability of the design. So by this way, it is very helpful in that perspective. And the last application is to determine the design of the outlet of their streamlining. So this is the uses or application of the flow net. Then let's see the limitation of the flow net. If we think about the limitation, then the flow net analysis cannot be applied in the region close to the boundary. Why? Because close to the boundary, because close to the boundary, the viscous force are predominant, and the governing equation we can consider with respect to viscosity only. So in this case or in this region, we cannot apply or the flow net or the graphical representation of flow net will be not useful, or we can say not applied not applied correctly. It will give us the relation approximately. In another limitation, in the case of flow of a fluid passed over a solid body, while the flow net gives a fairly accurate picture of the flow pattern for the upstream part of the solid body, it can give a little information concerning the flow condition at the rear because the separation and eddies are formatted. Yes, this is the very important. It is just like a paradox because when we see the flow around any body, let's suppose this is an arbitrary shape body and a flow occurs in this direction. In this case, streamline will move like this. If this is like this, and if we bottom, it will be like this. So in this case, here in the region or upstream side, the flow net or the velocity potential function or an equipotential line and streamline both are work as per the requirement, and it will give us the exact definition of the pressure and velocity condition. But when it passes through the solid body, here in the backside of this body, there are eddies generated, and these eddies will not will not let this line to represent the perfect definition of this pressure and velocity condition. So these are the two limitations of the flow net. And that is all for today, friends. Let's summarize what we have studied today. We started with velocity potential function, then stream function, and then we have seen the relation between the velocity potential function and stream function, followed by the flow net. And after that, we have seen the uses and limitation of the flow net. Thank you, friends.